What's going on, y'all? This is Greg. Greg said it. Back with another one here. We in the last couple of weeks of Colorado season, man. The weather is changing, nice, getting all nice and cool. I'm sure, Boulder be snowing this time. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was snow on the ground. We messed around and looked up. It didn't have no snow. It seemed like the last couple of years when it snowed, they have a away game. Hopefully we keep it that way. Maybe we need us a nice little snow game. I don't know. We got one more home game. That's going to be another morning game, Oklahoma State. But we got Kansas coming up. And so many things to say. I mean, Colorado is a powerhouse when you really look at it. Colorado has a lot of firepower, a little too much for the average team. We told people early in the spring and the summer, before the season started, that Colorado had the best receiver group. Now people just now starting to realize that and say that. We also told them that defensive line was going to be a problem. Took a little longer to develop, maybe a few games. But like I said, they have to kind of learn to play together. Coaches have to kind of figure out what they have. Speaking of that, we heard that Keaton Wade, he can't redshirt now. He won't redshirt. They're going to go ahead and use him the rest of the games. And then maybe they could have, but I don't think it matters because the way he's playing is he's healthy. He out of here next year anyway. A lot of them boys going to be out of there next year. The next couple of years, Colorado's going to have a lot of draft picks. So this season is very important for them. What Shador and Travis and all of them set a high bar with first round. And some of the other guys like B.J. Green, I think Nikhil Green definitely should be drafted. Only fool wouldn't draft him. He's one of the top linebackers in this country right now. And I think them going to a bowl game, not a bowl game, but a conference championship and playoff would only help spotlight these guys, because you no longer can say, what can they do against SEC? What can they do against better competition? You're going to get to see them. And it kind of brings home something. We know this. Colorado was like, I don't know, 13 or 14, something like that in the conference. The Big 12. Of course, it's not 12. I think it's like 16, 17 teams. I always get that number off. But they were at the bottom. Maybe a few teams under them. A lot of teams like, they better than Colorado. All right, we'll prove it. And Colorado had a slow start. I mean, they didn't play no conference game with a slow start. But, everybody's ready to bear them. Then you look up to the point where they didn't lose no conference game. Then they lost to Kansas State. And that was a interesting game in a lot of ways, but that's it. So they just made their way through the conference like we expected. And now all of a sudden people say things like, oh, the Big 12 is weak. And as Colorado will win, you notice that. I mean, even them coming in, they kind of set the precedence that the Big 12 is weak. That's a weak conference, and technically, I don't know. I mean, very strong running back conference, not a lot of great quarterbacks. I don't know if that makes them weak, because pretty much most of them teams at some point or another were in the top 25. Everybody except Colorado. Now Colorado's in it. Some of them disappeared because, of course, you're losing to them and they're losing other games. I mean, at some point, Iowa State, BYU, early Arizona, Utah, they was ready to throw them in. They gave it to them. They won them out of weak conference then. And we've seen, I think Arizona State is there now. And Texas Tech has been there. Who hasn't? West Virginia probably been there at some point. Only teams I don't think has been there is maybe TCU, maybe Cincinnati. I don't know. Because I think teams like BYU and Iowa State wasn't even expected to ever be there, but they've been there longer than everybody because they maintained their undefeated season up to thus far, which is late in the season. And like I said, some teams, start off strong and they kind of fade out, and some teams peak later or they just kind of gradually grow. That's Colorado. And you would expect that out of a new team, with a lot of portal players and new coaching, and, to get that together. They really still gelling, still growing, and that's why they're just getting better and better, because they have the talent. And I know that's what I've been saying. So now that Colorado is kind of running everybody down, and they have a chance to beat the Big 12. All of a sudden, you went from canceling the season, Colorado's garbage, they're only going to win 4 games. I told you, ha, 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 to, but it got to be really weak because Colorado's winning. Yet, the stats don't doggone lie. The defense got so many almost top 5, top 6, top 10. When you look at the sacks, when you look at the tackles for loss, the turnovers, and all kinds of stats. You look at Coach Prime's presser today, he mentioned so many stats, too much to remember. I didn't write them down. The defense is no longer just top in sacks. They're top in pretty much all defensive categories and growing. They don't surpass everybody in the Big 12. They top this, top that in the Big 12, but not just in the Big 12, but in the country. So it will make sense for Colorado to be considered a top 10 like team, especially with them winning, because all of their stats are approaching that from a defensive side. Offensive side, they have flashes of it. I don't know where they are number-wise, because they really could just go off with their numbers, but they don't always take advantage of it. Sometimes they just get ahead and they kind of step on the brakes a little bit, play with their food. They really could run up the numbers in a lot of ways. And you look at the stats and they kind of go up and down. Either start off slow, do good in the middle, and then slow back down, or they start off fast and slow down in the middle and kind of fade out. This game was interesting. They scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. So it's like they've shown in all phases, they just put it together, they're an absolute problem. Yet some people still want to question the conference because Colorado's doing so well. Utah was the top defense in the conference. They don't really give up a lot of points. They may lose, they're going to lose close. They're not giving up over, I think it was 24 to 27 points. They're not giving up over that in a game. They haven't. And then Colorado put up 42 offensively out of the 49 that they scored. So you got to look at the fact that that defense is pretty stingy. And, they had a lot of injuries, but they wasn't primarily on the defensive side. The defense was intact. The offense had some challenges all year with quarterback. They lost a tight end, this and that. They lost a running back. They lost a receiver. They lost some things on the offensive side. But their defense was intact, and they played decent. But Colorado's got too much firepower. They got an elite quarterback who's a top 3 pick. Got an elite receiving, Travis Hunter. They say he's open all the time. I mean, you go to the game, you see. And he's there. That's why when you need a big play, you can throw it to him because he's open. DeJounte's open. Wester's getting open. You got Miller. Horn, they didn't even play. You got players that's hurt. Mario Miller. And everybody like to point out, oh, well, this team is losing because they got all these people out. Nobody pointed out when Colorado lost to Kansas State that all these 4 receivers out, including Travis Hunter. And they still had the game, and they let them pretty much throw a Hail Mary at the end of the game. And then when Colorado needed the call, when the guy Bobby Boucher, our receiver, he didn't get the call right in front of the ref. I think it was 4th down. Didn't get the call. And because Colorado had a maintained possession, they still had close to a couple minutes left. And basically, all they needed was a field goal to tie the game. They probably would have scored in that drive knowing Shador, because that's when he plays best. Brady mode. He had the time. I don't think they had the timeouts, but he had the time to get downfield. And they didn't even get the chance. But they was in that position. Oh, wait, Travis Hunter didn't play past the first quarter. Jimmy Horn as well. Amari ended up getting hurt later on. They was depleted. And yet, they still was able to play in that game. But nobody really gave them a lot of, they got players hurt. But Utah, they was quick to say they had other players hurt. They was quick to say, duh. This time of year, you don't talk about the fact that half our defensive line that we've had all year is gone. And the depth we have there, well, even one of our offensive line have to play both sides. Now, he hasn't had to, but he's been in a rotation. He's been practicing. We lost Shane Coates. We lost Buell. We lost Carter Long in the beginning of the season. We lost Hayes, another top edge rusher. We've lost many key people on our defensive line, but that depth is what has helped Colorado, especially on the defensive side. We've had injuries. Some players are playing through injuries, not injuries enough to be out, but some of them have had to come out. Some bye weeks have came in some pretty helpful times. Our linebacker core has went down a little with some red shirts, so it's like Colorado's been playing through stuff too. Yeah, the goalposts has always moved, of course. I think they say it's now on the moon. I put it on Boulder Mountain. They say it's on the moon now because it's just getting down. People saying, oh, shucks, Colorado is winning. Oh, shucks, they're just a couple games away. And they actually can win the bowl game. And then be in the playoff. Oh, my goodness, this is too much. It went from supposed to be 4 and 8 and whatever and 6-6, and that's a good season to, oh, shucks, they in the bowl game with that 10-2 that Greg said it. They laughed, they joked, they mocked, they had all their little great shows, they crashed our shows, they said all kinds of stuff when they gone. You cannot build like nothing on hate like that. And they say it's not hate, but it's like it clearly wasn't just. We said it wasn't just, refused to listen. Colorado is a team that could make the playoff, could make noise in the playoff if they maintain being healthy, if they continue to get better, if they don't make dumb mistakes to make it harder on themselves, if they don't have these slow starts and give people a head start every game and try to run them down, if they make people work for it, and don't make it easy on them. Don't get up on them and let them come back. Just play a full game. I don't know what it would take. We try to all figure it out. But mentality goes a long way. You got to figure it out. Get some psychiatrists or something. What's going on? Start from the coaches down. Because you have the tools. You had the tools last year, like I said. You have the tools, the weapons, whatever you want to call it, to get the job done. Nobody is no more better than you. It's right here in the head. But for you to say that everybody else sorry because Colorado winning, it's just delusional as you've been the whole time. Just you go sit down somewhere. You said they weren't going to win. Now you always going to try to, have you not been look like a fool enough? Let me get some inspiration, motivation here. I'm just Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, leave comments. And of course, I'll be talking to y'all real soon.